Hello. It's been a while, so I figured I would come back. I know that I said that I wanted to do part two of rejection, which I will get to that. But I don't know. My spirit just wants to talk about men and emotions, and I don't know why that topic came to me, but I actually did a podcast last year on this with Keisha Christian, Dropping Gems, and so I'm just going to get right into it. Men and emotions. Men struggle with opening up. Men struggle with communicating effectively as it relates to their emotions, and they struggle in life, right? They struggle in relationships. They struggle in anything that involves emotions, and not everyone, right? Not everyone, but a large amount of men struggle in relationships and struggle in life on a day-to-day basis. And what's interesting is that when boys are little, we teach them not to cry. Don't cry, don't cry. You're not, you're a big boy. Boys don't cry, boys don't cry. And I'm not really sure if it's so much this generation, but definitely growing up in my generation, it was absolutely like that, right? And it was, boys can't play with feminine toys and dolls and all of those things. Boys were ostracized if they cried or if they showed emotion, and they were constantly taught not to show emotion, which was extremely incorrect, because what happens is when they become emotional, or when something is hurting them, or when something was painful to them, they felt like they couldn't express what they were feeling, and so they would push it down and push it down and submerge it until that became their normalcy. And so fast forward, and then they become adults and they get into relationships, and we don't understand why they don't know how to communicate. We don't understand why they don't know how to explain themselves. We don't understand why they struggle with love and nurturing and cuddling and stuff like that. And it's because they weren't taught to do that, and they were taught not to do that, and they were taught that only girls cry and only girls get emotional and stuff like that. So girls were allowed to be emotional. Girls were allowed to express themselves. And when you're allowed to be emotional and to express yourself, it opens up dimensions of your capability and the things that you're able to do. A lot of guys, not all, a lot of guys did not have that ability. They didn't have that luxury of saying, I don't feel good today, or crying and not being laughed at, or, teased or yelled at even for crying. And so it's something to think about. It's something to, really delve into if you are raising a boy, or if you are married to a man, or if you are in communication with a man. Please share this video and to any men that that could use this validation. I have a client who actually told me that he saw my podcast last year, and he actually looked for me, which was very gratifying to know that. So I felt it necessary to discuss it today, and in my own channel to discuss how important it is to allow men and boys to be expressive, to be emotional, and to not be ostracized by it. Let them be themselves. You know, it's so oftentimes women are, you know, like they just don't know what to do in relationships when men close out and shut down. And a lot of the time they shut down because they just really don't know how to express, you know, other than, you know when you're angry, you know when you're sad, you know when you're mad, you know when you're happy, right? But to express exactly what is happening, exactly what you're feeling, exactly what that entails, and why, you know, what effects it has on your relationships, interpersonal relationships, not just your wife, not just your, you know, mom or you know, your grandma or your sisters, just everyone, interpersonal relationships, your social settings at work. It definitely takes a toll on your overall relationships. So it's something to think about. It's something to look into. If you're raising boys, let them be themselves. Let them cry. Ask them what's wrong. Ask them to explain what they're feeling, if at all possible. Help them and guide them to do that. They will become way more reputable and good. You know, they will be, well, a little bit more balanced as it relates to emotions. And they'll be able to communicate a little bit more effectively in their relationships. So I think it's really, really important to just take heed.